Okay. Now, if you decide to take over a property yourself, there's a lot of things you want to do to make sure that you don't scare the hell out of your tenants, because they're going to be scared, okay? And so you want to let the tenants know there's a new owner in town, okay? New sheriff in town. So you're going to prepare a letter. You're going to put it on each door, and that letter should tell them who you are, how to reach you, how to pay their rent, if there's an emergency, who they contact, and if they've got maintenance issues, how to handle that. And all those things. And I'm going to tell you, you should also have them update all their information. Some tenants change jobs like I change flip-flops, okay? And I've got about 18 pairs of flip-flops. But I'm just being funny here. But the point is, you want their new phone numbers. And you could have them update their information with a paper form. You could put a link on a website. You could, have them email it to you. But you want to update who's living there, the ages of the people that are living there, the relationship of all those people, contact information for them, employment information them, and phone numbers, okay? Because again, all that stuff will be dated and you need to update that when you take over the property, okay? You want to notify the utility companies, newbie mistake. Forget to contact the utilities and the utilities get shut off. That's a bad day, okay? So you want to contact them, make sure that, sometimes you'll have to pay a deposit, stuff like that. You want to contact a local fire and police department. They need to know how to reach you if there's a problem, okay? Case in point, that Nashville asset where I had a 20-unit building burned down. Bad day. Thank God nobody died, okay? But they had to know how to contact us, okay? Especially if you're managing yourself. Now, at that location, we've got a leasing office, so they just obviously went right there. Okay, you got to contact all the current vendors, okay? And I would suggest that you update and rewrite and rebid everything, okay? Because there's something called vendor creep. Somebody's been a vendor at a property for years that for some reason their prices keep going up. So you want to rebid all this stuff: swimming pool maintenance, parking lot, snow removal, landscaping. And then these vendors you're going to use for repairs, HVAC, plumbing, electrician, pest control is a regular thing. Vending machines maybe, laundry equipment. So you're going to go in and update and or rebid all this stuff and see if you can get the prices down, because any decrease in expenses goes right to the bottom line, exponential increase in value, just like an increase in income, okay? You're going to set up a property specific checking account, okay? And it should have the name of the entity listed that's on the title of it. And again, keep your personal finances separate from the property. Very important. You're going to decide how you're going to do the accounting. Is it going to be cash or accrual? So talk to your accountant about that. You're going to make sure that you expense things that should be expensed and capitalize things that should be capitalized. Big items should be capitalized. You got to learn the difference between an expense and a capital improvement. For taxes, cash or accrual accounting, got to decide that. You got to determine if you're going to do a cost segregation. Highly recommend you do, because you'll have great first-year tax benefits. You're going to have to create some management systems if you're going to manage yourself. How you're going to collect rent, how you're going to handle late pays, how you're going to handle maintenance, how you're going to inspect the property and keep it up to snuff, how you're going to market it, lease up, accounting, all these things you got to set up if you're going to manage yourself. Not to say you can't do it, but you got to do all that. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Self-management doesn't mean you necessarily have to collect rents and deal with tenants and toilets and leasing units. Self-management means, you don't hire an like an off-site property management company, but maybe you hire your own personnel. And I'm going to tell you that I would suggest, even if you buy a freaking duplex, that you're giving somebody a couple bucks off the rent to pick up the trash there and keep an eye on things. You need somebody to be your eyes at a property if you're managing yourself. So there should be someone that has some responsibility there. I don't care what size the property is, okay? Now, you can hire an on-site manager, and that what you pay them will depend on the workload, the size of the property. They can be part-time, full-time. They could get a rent discount. Maybe they get some free rent. Maybe they get some free rent and compensation. And it just depends on how big the property is and what you give them to do. Okay? Like on a 12 unit, maybe they get $200 or $300 a month off their rent. A larger one, maybe they get free rent and leasing bonuses or renewal bonuses. And a large 40 to 50, maybe they get free rent, leasing bonuses, and a monthly salary. But there's lots of ways you can skin that cat. But you'll have to hire these people. Now, let me tell you a little ninja trick. And I've done this more than once. If you've got, like, I would say at least a 20 plus unit building, if you can hire a retired couple, okay, where the man was in the trades. Maybe he was a plumber, electrician, drywall, painter. You know, one of these guys that can pretty much fix anything. Okay, my dad was like that. My stepdad, and so that's the guy. And so he's the husband, and the wife is that nosy woman that's at the window like this in everybody's freaking business. Okay, if you can give them free rent and let them move into your place, that is a match made in heaven. Not only are you taking care of them, but they will take such good care of your property, and the guy will handle the fix up and the maintenance and turns, and the woman is, you know, just a pain in the ass for all the tenants there, but she'll keep such good track of your property. I've done that twice. It's worked very, very well. Okay. And they're your face of the property, 24/7 eyes. They give you peace of mind, and they can do all sorts of things. They can show units. They can interact with residents, interact with contractors. You know, you can give them a cell phone as a property phone. You know, it really works very, very well. Okay. They can deliver notices to tenants. Be careful with that one, only because if they deliver late pays, then the tenant that's getting the late pay notice could get angry with them. Because they're bringing bad news. So be careful with that one. Maybe you mail them instead or something. Be careful with that one. But they if there's common areas, if there's yards, you know, they can blow snow, they can mow the yard. They can handle make ready, minor maintenance, get your units ready. It's just a great way to handle a property yourself. Okay. Now, you've got to know the laws, okay? Every state has different landlord-tenant laws, which is why I avoid the blue states, because they have rent control, they have all sorts of things there. It can be very hard to get people out of a unit, and some of them, again, are they're not landlord-friendly, okay? So you need to know what the laws are in whatever jurisdiction you're going to buy in, so you don't skirt them and you go in with both eyes wide open, okay? You know, it can take up to a year, believe it or not, to get people out in some locations. I mean, it's ridiculous, okay? Now, never do any stupid crap like turn off their electricity or their water. I've heard people remove the front door. You want to go to jail or make the cover of the paper, do something like that. But you can do cash for keys. I will tell you, at that Shreveport asset, I was there and we had just had a shooting between two apartment units, okay? And you know, I was disgusted anyway, and I'm walking through there and I hear music blaring from one of the apartments. And I'm a pretty big, intimidating guy. This is stupid though, don't do this, because I wasn't strapped. Usually I'm strapped, but I was out of town. And I pound on the door, boom, boom, boom. And this idiot comes to the door that had been involved in a shooting, I might add. Again, I wasn't really thinking here, but I was so pissed when I heard him. And I said, listen, I'm going to evict you and you'll never rent anywhere again. Or if you're out of here by tomorrow, I'll give you $1,500 cash. He was out by tomorrow. I went to 3 units. I got them all out within 2 days. Now, I'm not suggesting you do it quite the way I did it, but you can sometimes do cash for keys to get people out. It's a win-win because they're not going to trash it when they leave. You're not going to have to go through the eviction process. They'll take most of their crap out. Otherwise, you'll end up hauling, because you don't give it to them unless it's been cleaned and swept. Everything's out and it's been swept. So that's something you can do. Again, don't do it quite as silly as I did, because that was dangerous. But the point is, you can do cash for keys. Okay, totally illegal, okay? You need to know the discrimination laws. I'll go into them next, but that's an absolutely illegal sign. So know what constitutes discrimination. Some of these things may surprise you. Certainly, it's familial status, no single spinsters or whatever. Race or religion, okay? You can't discriminate. Sex, age, sexual orientation, can't discriminate over that one. Disability, of course, you're familiar with that one. But marital status, you know, no married people or no single people, whatever, where they get their money. So these are where they come from, national origin. You can't discriminate for any of this stuff. And I will tell you, there are professional litigators out there. I've got a buddy that has a industrial flex space. You know, they got the warehouse in the back, little office in the front. And he had somebody knock on his door and say, hey, can I use your bathroom? You got to go. And of course he said yes. So he let him go in there and go to the bathroom. He got a lawsuit like a week later because it wasn't handicapped accessible. Okay? That's what I'm talking about here. But know what constitutes discrimination. The key is you got to treat everybody the same. Bottom line, no matter what. That's what you have to do. Okay? Now, here's how you can reject an application. They don't make enough money. They have negative references. They've got poor credit. They've got a criminal record. They lied about something. They can't afford the place. They've got pets and you don't allow. Now, I suggest you allow pets and you charge for them, but I would not take dangerous dogs. Pit bulls, Rottweilers, Dobermans, German Shepherds. I wouldn't take big dogs like that, but take small dogs and cats for sure. But if they've got a lawsuit with a previous landlord, that's a problem, yes. They've been previously evicted, that's a problem, yes. So again, these are the legal reasons you can reject an application. But the key is you got to treat everybody the same, okay? Here's my high-level tenant rules. Pay your rent on time. Keep the unit and the area around the unit clean, and don't disturb or bother your neighbors or break the law. Duh. But I verbally tell them this, okay? Here's what you can expect from me. A safe place to live, a clean place to live. A legitimate maintenance requests will be handled timely. Legitimate's the operative word here. If your dog screws up the blind, you're not happy about it. First of all, it might take time to get it fixed, and you're going to pay for it as soon as we do it. By the way, when I paid cash for keys for those idiots in Shreveport, we had scores of people coming in the office just thanking us for getting rid of those idiots, okay? So I forgot to mention that. Okay. And other tenants that live there that had to deal with those idiots. Okay. Yeah. Tenants be like, that's normal wear and tear. And I've seen such crazy stuff here. I have some real funny landlord-tenant stories. Things I've experienced over the years. But here's some self-management tips, okay? Always certified funds for the first rent and deposit, never just a regular check, okay? You only give the keys when everything's done, the lease is signed, you've got certified funds, and you did a condition report, talking about what the condition of the property is. So when they move out, you compare it to what it was when they moved in, okay? Take care of your tenants. Tenant turnover is your biggest expense. I remember bringing boxes of popcorn to my tenants in Port Charlotte, Florida here, and for Christmas, and just, being nice to them and taking care of, if they had a legitimate maintenance request, fixing it absolutely as fast as I could. But if they cause the damage, they pay immediately. But you treat them like someone you care about so they stay, because your highest expense is turnover. So one other quick thing. We encounter so many people that are frankly frustrated. They're looking in the mirror and they're frustrated that they haven't been able to escape the rat race. They haven't been able to build cash flow to the point where they're able to have financial and time freedom with their families. And maybe they see other people buying real estate and creating, incredible cash flow, and they think, well, it's just scary. Buying apartments is intimidating. And I get it. But see, that's why we created our Warrior Mentorship Program. They're our coaching students, and they've had extraordinary results. My students, I've been teaching about 5 years, and they own upwards of 140,000 units now that we know of, right? And we feel like it's just getting going. Now we're looking to grow this group and really take it to the next level. And honestly believe that the greatest transfer of wealth could be upon us right now with this current economic environment. Everything's going on sale. So we're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework, really like a blueprint or a map, literally step by step. And then they're able to leverage our systems and our incredible network to raise money and equity, to find deals and close those deals and build partnerships, really nationwide. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more in our incredible network and take advantage of the unbelievable opportunities that are upon us, you can apply to my Warrior Mentorship Program by texting the word CRUSH to 72345, or you can go to mentorwithrod.com. And what we'll do is we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out and see if it's a fit. Now again, you can go to mentorwithrod.com or text the word CRUSH to 72345 to apply, and we will speak soon.